Hi, this is Fraser from FF Art Studio.
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be starting with a new series of this jug modeling. Yes, so let's get started. The first part we'll be dealing with the base of the jug only. Let's go to the right side view and import the image. For that we need to go to the View tab, scroll down to Image Plane, Input Image. From there we can select the file location where the image is placed and select the file, the image file, and import it into Maya. Now we need to position it above the grid. And align it along the x-axis symmetrically so that when we model it, it gets more or less a symmetric shape. So once we've adjusted the image from the side view or the right view, we will go to the perspective view and just push it a little back to make some room for the model, to create the model in the grid. Yeah. So we'll be using curves for modeling this basic shape. You can get the viewports from the 4 tabs. You can see the right side, the front, the top, and the perspective views. These 4 viewports you can get alongside also. You can select it by pressing down the space button. So the top part of this jug, I'll be modeling it later, but the part with till where it is symmetrical, you can see that till where the handle is, we'll be using curves and surfaces for that. So curves, you can get curve surface from the shelf. There are various kind of curves: CP curve, Bezier curve. So I'll be using the CV curve. The CV curve tool can also be found on the curve tab, curve tools. So you can see the CV curve tool there. So once that's selected, we'll just start clicking the points, drawing the points along the silhouette of the reference to create the basic outline shape of the jug. The base stand, as you can see, that we can construct later. Now we'll continue with the rounded part of the jug. So once that's done, we'll press enter, select the control vertex, again go to control vertex mode, and we can tweak it further to just adjust the shape a little more to our satisfaction and align it according to the reference. So once we are happy with that, we'll go to the, so we'll do the top one later. Once we are happy with that, we'll go to the bottom last control vertex, select that and snap it to the x-axis. So we can do that by holding this control vertex and the X button together and snapping it to the x-axis and then positioning it. Why we are doing this, I'll tell you later. Now we can go to the perspective mode, selecting the curve. The curve is now ready. We'll be using surfaces for this, as I told you, to model the basic shape. So go to the perspective mode and then we'll select the surfaces tab from the shelf above. Under the surfaces, we'll go to the Revolve option box, and we'll reset the settings because you need to make certain changes. In this, it's normally by default set to NURBS. We are not creating NURBS, we are creating a polygon mesh. So we'll check on the polygon option, as well as you can see there are other options. We are not changing those. Okay, the type is set to triangles. We'll change that to quads. So we don't want triangles, we want quads, and we'll change it to count so that we have a control over the number of polygons. It's set to 200. We'll leave it as it is and hit apply. On hitting apply, we see that it is black from outside. That's again because the normals are reversed from outside. So we'll change that, fix it by mesh display reverse. Okay, so you can see now it looks fine because the normals are now pointing outwards, which is the correct direction. You can see the base also, there is no hole, and the reason for snapping the control vertex to the x-axis was that if we leave any gap between the axis and the last vertex, then there will be a hole after we've created it. So on unsmooth preview it looks fine, but by hitting 3 on smooth preview you see the shape is little offset from the reference. So we can tweak that. So there's one advantage using this method of using curves and NURBS, that is we can see that by selecting the control vertex, I am using soft selection on by pressing the B button for on and off or the soft selection mode. You can use the middle mouse button and scroll to increase and decrease the radius of the soft selection, and you can see the yellow and the red gradually. So that gives a smoother deformation. We can edit the mesh as long as it's connected and you haven't deleted the history. You have the full control to change the shape and the size using the control vertex. So as you can see that we have now aligned the shape according to the reference, and this looks pretty good. Now it's time to create the upper part or the snouted part from where the handle is coming out. For that we'll select the edge, we'll go to the edge mode and we'll extrude it. So for extruding you can go through the edit mesh option, also you can get, and from the shelf as well. So we extrude along the y-axis, and then we'll go global, little scale it slightly. Then we'll go to the vertex mode and tweak the shape according to the reference, the upper part as it is in the reference. Once that's done, a rough sketch, by turning on the X-ray mode you can see we need to do some more tweaking and adjusting the shape. So we will be using Multicut Tool. Multicut Tool can be found under Mesh Tools as well, or it is in the shelf. So double clicking you get into the tool. You need to switch on the edge flow mode, and set the values to 0.8. What this will do is it will create a smooth transition between the two edges. So it will be softer. You can see it will just slightly tweak it, and again going to the vertex mode and adjusting the vertex to create the shape. We'll be adding a couple more edges using Multicut Tool, and then we are done with this basic shape of the jug. So friends, as you can see that I have almost done with the tweaking, aligning it with the reference, and it's pretty symmetrical, looking pretty good in the extra mode as well. And I've used soft selection, So the basic shape looks pretty good. Now we are left with couple more things to do. That is, the first what we'll do is we'll add thickness to the jug, because it should have some thickness. For that we'll select the mesh and we'll extrude it. So the extrude option, as you know, you can get it from the shelf. We'll set the thickness value to 0.05. Yeah, and it's been extruded internally because the outer shape we've already got from the silhouette. So again it is black, you can see the normals are reversed. So again we can fix it using normals, reverse normals from the mesh display, reverse option. So you can see the rim, we need to add couple of edges to the rim. So we select those edges and bevel it. Under bevel you have fractions, you can decrease the fraction and you can add some segments. So I've used a couple of segments, so this looks pretty good. Yeah, the thickness is fine and it is not very hard as well. Okay, so once we are done with this looking nice, it's now time to move on to the last part for the basic shape of the, I'll hide the curve for now. So we'll select the lower faces, bottom faces, and create the basic stand for that. So you select the vertex, then to face, you can get the face selected and then grow it using shift and grow button. So once that's selected, hit extrude it down, and then hold J and scale, snap it so that it becomes completely flat, and then you can just raise it above the grid. Now I'll be adding some more edges using the Multicut tool. This time I'll be changing the settings for the Multicut tool. Edge flow will be off now and we'll tweak it manually. We also need to add a bevel. As you can see, I've added bevel to provide some crease also. So you can adjust these values according to your look, how it's looking and how the reference is. As you can see, the part which is joining the jug base and the stand, that has normally it is welded because they are different parts, so that we need to bevel and scale a little bit to create that kind of joint over there. So this looks fine. Yeah, it's matching the reference, it's almost there. You can add a couple of more edges just to tweak a little more. Maybe the base you can add. Yeah, this looks good. So you can see the welding joint is there, the basic shape looks good. And guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. Continue watching the second part where I'll be modeling the handle.
And thanks for watching.